Hi family. Hi family and welcome to our Thinking Things Tuesday. So as you all know what we do on Tuesdays, on Tuesdays we look at our current affairs news in South Africa. And as you all know, if you've been following the news, that we don't have any good story to tell in South Africa. It's been a chaos, it's been a mess, it's been riots, it's been looting. Ever since our former President Jacob Zuma went to jail, our country hasn't been the same again. It's just chaos on top of chaos. I think even the international headlines now are aware of what's happening in South Africa. So for today, like any other Tuesdays, we'll look at our current affairs. People are busy going to space. Your Bransons are going to space, and in South Africa, we're just busy looting. That's what's happening. I am so disappointed. I am so sad because at the end of the day, yes, this looting and riots and it started with the campaign of Free Zuma campaign. Oh, as you all know, last week we are still continuing on the Zuma saga. So eventually, our former president Jacob Zuma we handed himself to his nearest prison, which was, I think it's Escort prison, on Wednesday. Yes, on Wednesday, he handed himself in on at the nearest prisoner, which was Escort prisoner. So he's there. He's been processed and everything. He's just now waiting for his quarantine days to be over. Then he'll join the rest of the inmates. So for the time being, he's still under quarantine due to the regulations, COVID-19 regulations, and then after 14 days, he'll be joining the rest of the inmates. So ever since he was arrested, the following day after he was arrested, there was a campaign, a hashtag, I don't know what you call it, on your social medias, whereby it was a campaign of freeing Zuma campaign. So it started in KwaZulu Natal, as you all know. So the campaign started very polite, actually. It was one of those whereby, and yes, let me just say, Zuma's children also kind of added fire on whatever is happening, because they were main leaders in these social media campaigns, because the campaigns were more of insinuating violence and so on. So I think for me, the president of South Africa acted too late in whatever is happening, because before even our former president Zuma was arrested, there were talks, there were kind of behaviors of disrespectfulness towards certain people, because the Sunday whereby it was supposed to be his last day of his 5 days. There was already a whole lot of commotion happening in KwaZulu Natal. There was also the people called themselves Mabuto. There was your MKMVA camping outside in Kandla. So these things started even longer than now. So I kind of feel like the president of South Africa doesn't really know when to act and when to have his hand gripped tight around matters. So now we are in this mess whereby still we are not sure, are we in a state of emergency, or are we what? Because the country now is burning, province by province, city by city, shop by shop. And the sad part is this: at the end of the day, when all of these businesses are gone, people will have to take taxis, will have to take buses to go buy essential stuff now, because there won't be any shops around the township. There won't be any shops around where they looted and burned down. They are even burning down malls. There's nothing safe. Because and then after Zuma was arrested, there was the Zuma Free Zuma hashtag campaign which was going on. And after that, I don't know what happened. I just saw people just, when I watched the news, people just looting and going on. So and then it went from day one, day two, day three. I think now we are going for a whole week now of looting in certain provinces, people going into the, and there's even people from the people which are looting dying now, and you can't really say no. It should have happened. It's good that they are dying because nobody deserves to die. Now there is a gun, what you call it, rubber bullet wounds going on. There's people stamping on each other. It's just a mess, and I don't really know how to make of it because I can't say it's poverty. Because at the end of the day, people, we still got our morals, we still got our dignities to think of. Even it doesn't matter how hungry you are, nobody has a right to go and steal and loot, because the way you are looting somebody else's hard work, somebody else's sweat and tears. So there is no justification of looting, no matter how angry you are, no matter how hungry you are, there is no justification of looting because you're just messing up somebody else's hard work. So after Zuma was arrested, it just went down. Now it started in KwaZulu Natal. Now it has spread to Gauteng province and also some other provinces which are starting to also studying the loot. I think by now people are just enjoying the lawlessness of going into a mall, grab whatever you like, and just run away with it. So the visions which we've been seeing, they're not good. They do not tell a good story about South Africa. It's a great disappointment after all these years into freedom, after all these talks of a rainbow nation, after all of these hopes whereby we were united, we were one nation, we were happy, we were looking forward into building a better society for all. And this is what we turn out to be now because we are destroying our own country. The fact of the matter is, we are destroying our own country. This is just domestic terrorists going on, people just looting and within. So I strongly blame the government of the day because this is the time whereby they were supposed to show us what makes them to lead us. But the government of ANC, the ANC government, is also to be blamed of how people have lost hope, how people don't care anymore because we are in the pandemic, and within this pandemic there's already reports of corruption, there's already reports of ANC members which have been found guilty or which allegedly are involved in corruption when it comes to the PPE and the COVID-19 tenders. There's tender frauds or corruption which is over millions, and the other person was next to the president. The president's spokesperson's husband was one of the first people which were involved in the COVID-19 pandemic scandal, corruption, and so on. So people have really, really lost hope on the ANC government because it seems like the ANC government doesn't care about the country, doesn't care about the people. The only thing they care about is for them to loot the country's coffins dry, and then for them to say, I don't remember, I don't know, when they get to be asked what happened at the Zondo Commission, because that's what we've been hearing. So at the end of the day, if our leaders don't have respect for us, how are we supposed to have respect for them or for anything else for that matter? See, yeah, I think this whole Zuma, Free Zuma campaign just triggered a whole underlining of how bad things are in South Africa. Because people, it just shows that people don't care anymore. People don't have morals, remorse. They just don't care. People are behaving like they have no mamas. Somebody goes into the shop, there's a news report camera live on their face. They don't care. They come out of their shops looted with everything they ever wanted. And sometimes they can't even fit the stuff into their cars or into whatever they're carrying, but they will still drag. I've seen people carrying 20, 40 times more than their body weight. And I'm like, people are strong. People are healthy out there. And at the same time, we can't really hide behind the fact that people are poor, people are this, people are that, because at the end of the day, we also need to learn to think for ourselves. Yes, we elect government, and then but at the end of the day, the government the government is the one which is failing the people, and the people are also relying too much on the government, because at the end of the day you need to realize this is my life. I don't have a government. At the end of the day, I have myself to blame in whatever happens with my life, in whatever I turn out to be. Small children as young as the 5, 6, 7 year old, 10-year-olds, I've seen them running around also looting. What do I tell my child as a parent if my child sees me as the mother going into the shop and go loot? Definitely they're gonna do the same thing as well. So I think somehow we've lost it as human beings or as people in South Africa. I don't care how poor you are, I don't care how hungry you are. We all got stories whereby you might think that you're a middle class, but then somebody in your family is still somewhere whereby it's not even enough to be alive. So we're not saying that no, don't steal because we think we've got enough. No, it's all about you as a person. You do not have any right to go steal somebody's or go loot somebody's stuff just because you are hungry, just because you want. That's pure selfishness. And at the end of the day, if we are not patriotic towards our own country, we are going to cry and say, oh, foreigners are coming and taking our country over. Foreigners have every right to come and take the country over if they see that people in this country don't care about the country. Yes. So at the end of the day, there's no patriotism there. The only thing which I see which what's happening there, people just don't care about South Africa. Those people which are looting and messing up the country, they don't care about South Africa. And those people which started looting and going and behaving bad in the name of Zuma, imagine destroying a whole country just for the sake of one person. What has he ever done so great that we all have to burn just because of him? Because he's not even in jail for his crimes. He's in jail because of his stubbornness. He still have to come and face him his music. He's waiting for a arms deal case which is still pending. What happens when he's found guilty on that case? Then we all gonna die because Zuma will be sentenced to jail. No, people, let's get this straight. Zuma is not even done with his criminal or get jail time if he's gonna get more jail time. This is just because of his stubbornness. It's got nothing. He's not even charged with anything. He's still got matters pending. He's still got the charges waiting if he's gonna be charged with the arms deal and so on. So Zuma is still going to be in court, in and out. We still don't know his fate. But if Zuma's fate means that we're gonna burn, no, people, because we don't have anywhere else to go. Zuma and his family can go to Dubai anytime. They've got houses all over the world. Where are we gonna go? At the end of the day, it's enough to loot now. You're gonna have enough food for the next 2 to 3 weeks, maybe the most. And then what happens after that? What happens? Because now there won't be any more shops in the community where you can just run quickly to shop right without using a taxi fare. You will have to go far away now to get your SASSA money. You will have to go far away to go get an ATM now, a simple ATM now, because people were going crazy because they wanted Zuma out. Zuma comes out, is he gonna fix everything which people have messed and looted when he comes out, if he eventually comes out? Because even if people want Zuma out, there's ways of getting Zuma out lawfully, not this lawlessness. Because if they strongly believe Zuma deserves to be out, try to get a presidential pardon if you have to. But then the reason why Zuma is in jail is because of his stubbornness, or it's because of his lawyers, his legal team, which didn't represent him well. Yes, Zuma didn't follow the right legal procedures when it comes to the State Commission, um, inquiry, but he had a whole group of legal representatives which was telling him what to do and what not to do. Those people should have filed the applications for all the legal matters, which Zuma failed to do so. They were not supposed to let Zuma just be himself and answer law anyway and he wants to, because they are the ones which are the Leonard Friends. The Leonard Friends were supposed to have helped to get Zuma out of jail. Zuma was not supposed to have gone to jail for this one if he had good legal representatives, if they were representing him very well. Because if you all remember in the Concord's decision, when they were saying what's Zuma's sentencing, they say that if Zuma followed mostly all the right procedures, legal procedures, he was going to get a 2 year suspended sentence, which means that yes, for 2 years he was not supposed to commit any crime, but he was going to be a free man. Yes, there was an option of him getting a 2 year suspended sentence without this 15 months unsuspended sentence. That was on the table, but it was his legal team which did not do their job. So if anybody wants to be angry, they need to be angry at who was representing Zuma. How did Zuma end up going to jail? That's the question. Not that the whole country has to be held hostages and in ransom because of Zuma and be looted. Some of us honestly do love this country, and some of us are very patriotic when it comes to be South Africans and Africans. We love everything we stand for. We love the fact that we are unique. We love the fact that we are so diverse. We love the fact that we can be angry at your next door neighbor today and tomorrow you are back and talking again. We love all the things which makes us South Africans, but this one whereby we kind of feel like if we touch one tribe in South Africa, then the whole country must burn. This is Zuma's is not the first high profile which was arrested, which spent time in jail. Few years ago, we had the Abatembu king from King Dalindyebo, which was arrested for his own misbehaviors in the Eastern Cape. He did his time, and yes, most people which were supporting him to come out of jail didn't go and burn the streets and so on. They kept on lobbying for his release. They kept on writing to the president for a presidential pardon, saying that yes, we understand this, but then lawfully this is a king, this is a chief. He is a leader of his own people. By indigenous law, he's supposed to be recognized. So for the fact that the Roman Dutch law doesn't recognize him, but indigenous law recognized him. So eventually he got his presidential pardon. And nobody burned down the Eastern Cape, nobody. But then now that it's Zuma, and Zuma's children can just go to Twitter and say, "Asibasabi, asibasabi, siyabafuna, siyabafuna." When it hits the fan, now it's like, this is not the way to do things. We need to be peace. It doesn't work like that. We can't be held hostages by one family. We are all supposed to be part of the freedom umbrella. We are all free in our own rights, but we can't just be bullied by one family to a point. Of course, I'm going to blame the Zuma family. When all of this started, it started under the Zuma name. Yes, it's the Zuma, it's the Concord, it's the Zuma legal representatives, it's the ANC which don't know how to take charge of its situation. It's the ANC which firstly started with, when they had internal factions in the party, they would spew the factions into the streets whereby people were listening and so on. And people took those factions, inside factions of the ANC serious. And now the ANC can't help itself when people now are showing disrespectness there in public, because it was the ANC when they wanted to win votes and so on. Instead of fixing their problems, they used the internal problems as way to pursue votes to whatever faction they wanted to win. So this one, I blame the ANC again. So it's the Zuma is the ANC. It's the ANC which brought us Zuma and Zuma family. It's the ANC which brought us MKMVA. So all of these things, It's the ANC government which is in charge, which is supposed to know how to take control of a situation when something is going out of hand. This just shows the lack of leadership in the ANC government. The only thing they're good at is just looting, messing, and just using people's money. But when it comes to leading the country, when it comes to showing some direction, nobody's there. So I don't know what's happening in South Africa. I don't know what's the end game, how this is gonna end. I still don't know. And even if when they stop looting, what next? Because now when they stop looting, it's the cleanup, and then that's when they're going to realize that it's a mess. It started with when the people were doing protesting for what you call for for a tar road. They will go and burn a library because they want a tar road. It started there. We were supposed to we have a leadership there whereby they needed to tell people that, look, people, we understand that you get frustrated, you get angry, maybe sometimes you take too long to hear your grievances, but please don't burn these things which you already have. We don't burn infrastructures which are already here, because now we are walking one step forward and three steps backwards. We you eventually get what you want from the protesting, and then government must still come back and build the library which you guys burn when we are protesting. So something just is not right. We need to have better ways of showing our frustrations, our anger. We need to have better ways of, oh, before I forget, and the other thing which I've noticed through this whole Zuma saga and the Constitution Code, that some people actually do not know what they're talking about. Most people don't know what they're talking about. People just summarize the big words, and then they go and just stick to that one word without really understanding. People, if you cannot explain something at its most simplest form, then definitely, surely you must know you do not understand it. But if you can explain something at its simplest form, then you better know that you know and you understand that. Most people just grasp the word or the tagline or whatever is happening, and then they go and run with that. There's a lot of people which were interviewed with this whole Free Zuma saga, when this looting was starting on, because that's when the TV news reporters were trying to understand what's really going on. And people will hold on to one word, and the rest will just be a mix of emotions, anger, vaga, you name it. So at the end of the day, I wish before we run into the street and we take sides and we want to be martyrs for other people, we need to know what are we martyrs for, because nobody wants to die for nothing. Before you put your life in for another person, you need to know why, people. You need to know why. You need to stop being martyrs for useless causes. You need to know when to fight your own battles. You can't be a poor family which you've got children underground, and which you've got. Zuma was a president for 2 terms in South Africa. What did your family achieve during the 2 terms Zuma as a president? The high unemployment rate was still there when Zuma was a president. It's not just something which came with Cyril Ramaphosa that there's high unemployment rate. Everything which is Cyril Ramaphosa as the president is facing, Zuma had 2 terms as well, because the reason why we even have this Zondo Commission or State Commission, it's because of while the former president Zuma was a president, some certain people managed to take the country over in the name of investing, because we've got the Guptas which came. If we knew how the Guptas came to invest in South Africa, that one is a topic for another day, but I still have a problem with our democratical system, whereby We as the people get to vote in the party which we want, but then we can't choose the ministers or the cabinet ministers which we want from that party. So I feel like maybe we should look at how our system works in South Africa when it comes to electing parliament members or ministers or cabinet ministers, because I feel like we as the people still need to have a right to choose which minister we want for which portfolio. For example, if the ANC wins the elections, then we say, okay, we want whoever for the Department of Education, want this person for the department. We as the people, not the ANC president, decided, okay, we're gonna put Angie Moshiqa for the next lifetime as the Minister of Basic Education, regardless of whether she's doing her job or not, cadre deployment. So we don't want that. We are tired of that, because the reason why I feel like that we can't resolve problems in South Africa, it's back to cadre deployment. Put people in positions which know what they're doing. Don't put a person in the position because you are together in Tanzania, you are together in Moscow, you are together in Cuba. Put people in positions where they can do the work. There's a lot of young people out there with qualifications, with intelligence, which are just sitting at home because they were never, they don't have exile credentials. They don't have cadre deployment credentials. So the ANC is its own worst nightmare. They still want to eat and eat and eat and flip and put more, shove more monies in their pocket, even if the country is going down. Yes, we know they didn't go to exile to be poor, but then I think it's a bit too much now. They even made their next generations rich and their next generations richer, while the country is being ransacked dry by them. So at the end of the day, this was bound to happen, that the people were going to get pissed off and tired of being the ones which are holding the flag. And the ANC at every given time, they're the first ones to loot. So it's the results of looting. The people are doing it now. Monkey see, monkey do. Anyway, let's see what we can find for today's news, which I don't really think there's much, because it's all about, ever since Zuma went to prison, the country was under fire. So, and then the only thing which excited, which happened, which I can really say, is the Branson going to the moon, to space. Let's check that one version. Let's see, Branson. I think let's start with that one. That's the exciting news. But from South African side, there is really nothing happening. It's just people looting and using Zuma's arrest I'm trying to find the news of that air balloon without messing it up. We didn't even get to see what happened with Eswatini news anymore. It's Virgin Galactic. Let's see. News about Virgin Galactic. Pre-launch. Okay, Virgin Galactic stock since after Richard Branson space left. Okay, that's 23 minutes ago. 10 minutes ago. Okay, why Virgin Galactic stock is down again today. Virgin Galactic falls main stock stream. Okay, so apparently the stock went down after the whole weekend. Is British American space flight company that operates in the United States, was founded by Richard Branson. His Virgin Group retains they said developing commercials. Yeah, yes, Virgin. Yes, the Wikipedia. Let's start from the Wikipedia. What is Virgin Galactic? So this weekend we were excited. We saw space from another different angle. And it says what Virgin Galactic. Virgin Galactic is is a British space flight company that operates in the United States. It was founded by Richard Branson, and his Virgin Group retains a 24% stake. It is developing commercial spacecraft and aims to provide suborbital space flights to space tourists. Virgin Galactic suborbital spacecraft are air-launched from beneath a carrier airplane known as White Knight 2. Virgin Galactic's founder, Richard Branson, had originally hoped to see a maiden space flight by 2010, but the date was delayed for several years, primarily due to October 2014 crash of VSS Enterprise due to a pilot error. Virgin Galactic's maiden spaceflight eventually did occur in 2018 with its VSS Unity spaceship. The company did the early work on the satellite launch development of Launcher 1 before this was hived off to a separate company, Virgin Orbit, in 2017. The company also has aspirations for suborbital transport, and in 2017, Branson has said that Virgin Galactic was in the best position in the world to provide rocket-powered point-to-point 3000 mph 4.8 km/h air travel. On 13 December 2018, VSS Unity achieved the project's first suborbital space flight, VSS Unity VP03, with two pilots reaching an altitude of 82.7 kilometers, 51.4 miles, and officially entering outer space by US standards. In February 2019, the project carried 3 people, including a passenger, on VSS Unit VF, with a member of the team floating within the cabin during a spaceflight that reached 89.9 kilometers, which is 55.9 miles. On July 11, 2021, company founder Richard Branson and 3 other employees rode on a flight as passengers, making the first time a spaceflight company founder has traveled on his own ship into outer space, according to NASA definition of outer space, beginning of 50 miles above the Earth. VG currently has regular paid passenger service flights scheduled to begin in 2022 after 2 more test flights have been completed. So people are going out of space. So that was the weekend. Beside our looting formation and activities, Virgin Galactic was founded in 2004 by British entrepreneur Sir Richard Branson, who had previously founded the Virgin Group and the Virgin Atlantic Airline, and who had a long personal history of balloon and surface record-breaking activities. As part of Branson's promotion of the firm, he has added a variation of the Virgin Galactic livery to his personal business jet, the Dassault Falcon 900EX Galactic Girl, G-Galax. The Spaceship Company was founded by Richard Branson through Virgin Group, which owned 70%, and Burt Rutan through Scaled Composites, which owned 30%, to build commercial spaceship and launch aircraft for space travel. From the time of TSC's formation in 2005, the launch customer was Virgin Galactic, which contracted to purchase 5 Spaceship Twos and 2 White Kings 2 scaled composites was contracted to develop and build the initial prototypes of White Knight 2 and Spaceship 2, and then TSC began production of the follow-on vehicles beginning in 2008. In 2012, after Northrop Grumman acquired Scaled Composites, Virgin Galactic acquired the remaining 30% of the Spaceship Company. Investors. After I claimed investment by Virgin Group of 100 million US dollars. In 2010, the sovereign wealth fund of Abu Dhabi, Abar Investments Group, acquired a 31.8% stake in Virgin Galactic for 280 million US dollars, receiving exclusive regional rights to launch tourism and scientific research space flights from the United Arab Emirates capital. In July 2011, ABBA invested a further 110 million US dollars to develop a program to launch small satellites into low Earth orbit, raising the equity share to 37.8%. Virgin announced in June 2014 that they were in talks with Google about the injection of capital to fund both development and operations. The New Mexico government has invested approaching 200 million $200 million, 121 million. I'm not sure whether that's I don't know what's in New Mexico's currency in the space, but it's $200 million in the Spaceport America facility, for which Virgin Galactic is the anchor tenant. Other commercial space companies also use the site. On Monday, 28 October 2019, Virgin Galactic listed into the New York Stock Exchange, trading under the ticker symbol SPCE. Retail interest after its IPO, SPCE became a popular stock for many retail investors and was often mentioned on the subreddit Wall Street Bets. I think that's enough. It's too much information. So yeah, family, that was happening this weekend. People were launching the airspace into to space, and we were busy looting the country, our own country dry. We can't even call Elon Musk to come and say, hey, remember us? Do you want to do something in space with us? We are still backwards. Okay, let's just read and say here. In front of me, I've got News Live, Times Live, it says by Noma Hlobi Sonjica, and it was written 15 hours ago. NPA will meticulously prosecute cases linked to looting and violence. Okay, it says the National Director of Public Prosecutions, Advocate Shamila Batohi, has condemned the acts of violence and incitement to commit public violence that have been ravaging the country, said NPA spokesperson Tunzini Maga. He said the NPA would use experienced prosecutors to collaboratively work with law enforcement to prioritize cases related to the civil unrest. These are prosecutors who have handled cases of this nature before, and we are confident that as they come through the system, they will be meticulously prosecuted. This will depend on a formidable case presented to us by law enforcement, he said. GCIS expressed outrage at reports that the premises occupied by Alex FM, a community radio station in Alexandra, had been looted and the station went off the airways. Today is a sad day for Alex FM and the community at large after the broadcast equipment and related items were looted, say GCIS Acting Director General Michael Curran. The radio station had been serving the Alex community for about 27 years and served as the voice of residents in Alexandra, he said. It's bad, people. We are equally livid that just 2 days ago, a SABC News crew was robbed of the equipment while covering protests in Alexandra. The violence, looting, and destruction to property needs to stop now. Violence is never an answer. The media plays a crucial role in the economy and political development of citizens and creates a broad range of information to stimulate citizens on developmental issues in their country. SA Media is a platform to amplify voices, facilitate meaningful participation, and foster social change. We need to work together to build our country. We cannot destroy what we have worked so hard to build. Current calls on religious leaders, traditional leaders, trade unions, businesses, community organizations, and political parties to help calm the situation. People in all, people and calm and calm and order will be restored. So the task of rebuilding this country and creating a better life for its people continues. Members of the public are urged to report incitement and acts of violence to the police by calling 08600 10111. So that's what we're happening in South Africa. I don't think we're gonna read anymore. It's the same news over and over and over. People looting South African. Oh, they also called in the soldiers as well. Provide for your hair's testimony and umbrella trust. Okay? I'm not even gonna look for other countries' news. I think as South Africa we have enough on our plate. So for today we're doing the Virgin Galactic and then the looting in South Africa, which is not good. Because you can't keep on saying poverty, poverty. Those people, at the end of the day, they know what they're doing and they know what they're doing is wrong. So there's no really right side here. It all ended in tears for us all. So family, for today, we are going to call it a day. We can't really stretch it that far. Today, I didn't really feel like this news because it just depressing. It's my country which I'm watching on the news, which I'm listening to international people talking bad, and they're not talking about, they actually stating the facts about what's happening in my country. And just because of one person got arrested. Things we do. Anyway, family, thank you very much for coming around this channel. Thank you again for thank you again for coming around, watching the videos. I really appreciate the love, and please don't forget to subscribe, comment, recommend the channel to your family, friends, and anybody which might be interested in the channel. And thank you very much for all the new subscribers. I really appreciate you joining the family. Thank you and welcome to the club. So for today on Xhosa Chick, we're saying goodbye till next week when we're doing Thinking Things again. Hopefully we'll have better news the time around, because this week it was just a mess. So thank you family. Have all a wonderful Tuesday until next week when we're doing another Thinking Thing Tuesdays. Bye.